wanna talk? So let's talk. Yeah. Talk. You wanna talk? You gotta talk, you need to talk. News talk.
I talk, you talk to Solomon. I talk, you talk to Solomon. Yeah, let's talk to Solomon. Talk to Solomon.
You gotta talk, you wanna
Greetings, friends. It's Talk to Solomon time. My name is Stan Solomon. I'm the host.
I'm Chief Steve Davis, the in-studio co-host.
And also co-hosting is our friend Brent Johnson from freedomradio.us. By the way, you need to go to freedomradio.us. There's a lot there for you to peruse and perhaps to be inspired by. Our guest is Arthur Alley. He is talking about, well, investing with a thought or an eye to what companies are doing socially and politically. Arthur, how are you?
Hey, Stan. Good to talk to you this evening.
It's nice to have you with us. Now, tell us exactly what your organization does.
Well, 20 years ago, Stan, we drew a line in the sand and established a mutual fund family that refuses to own shares in companies that are funding the evil side of life. We will not own companies that are involved or funding abortion, pornography, non-traditional married lifestyles, which includes the homosexual agenda, or the production of alcohol, tobacco, or casino gambling. So people that care about these issues have a place to come where they can align the way they invest their money with their moral beliefs and convictions. And it's called the Timothy Plan. We've been around 20 years, and we have proven over 20 years you don't have to own that stuff.
Well, I don't disagree with that. I don't own any of that stuff. But let me ask you a question, and this is probably one that others might think about. Disney, unfortunately, is owned by a group of the type of people that you would not want to be a part of. Do they give a damn if you or I or your investors invest in their stock?
Well, they're big enough where it really doesn't make all that much of a difference to them, Stan. And we're not, I wish we could make a difference, but even if we don't, we're there so people can align the way they invest with the way they believe. And if it doesn't matter to them, I mean, there's 10,000 mutual fund families that are well managed but unscreened. We are headquartered. Interesting, you named Disney. We're headquartered in Orlando, the home of Disney World. And, it's a wonderful facility, but we can't own their stock because they fail about every screen that we have.
I would agree. So I'm just trying to get to a point, and that is, you're not saying, folks, consider the Timothy funds because you can make an impact on the bad guys. You're saying consider the Timothy funds because you can feel more comfortable because you're one of the good guys.
Well, it just helps people align. We're based on biblical principles because we understand in this upside-down world in which we live, that's the only real source of truth there is, and there is truth in this world. And one of the principles that we stand on is a biblical principle that says, come out from among them and be separate, do not touch what is unclean, and I will receive you. We will not own companies. In other words, Stan, if you're pro-life, how much money do you want invested in abortion? If you're not pro-life, it doesn't matter, and there's all kinds of investments available for you. But if you are, you really kind of stuck with us.
All right, now, how big is us? How many investors? How many dollars? Are you $1 million, $1 billion, what?
We're right at about $650 million now, Stan, and we have like 30,000 investors.
So you're certainly big enough that it's not like, you're morally right, but you're really shooting dice. You guys have been at this a while, and I assume you have a reasonably good track record?
Well, every one of our funds are sub-advised by professional firms that are the top in their asset class. They're one of, the quality of money management is what sets us apart. And sometimes, we tie their hands. Sometimes they can't invest in companies they think are going to really do well. But other times, the fact that they can't invest in those companies really helps, because sooner or later, if you build your house on sand, it is going to crumble. So we're very conservative. We're not trying to knock, we're not cowboys. We're not trying to knock out the lights in performance. We just want good, steady, solid, consistent performance. And our money management firms are able to deliver that.
All right, let me go around the horn here and get other comments. Chief?
Well, on our first episode tonight, we talked about how America may have a watered-down version of Christianity right now, which is hurting the church's ability to fight the demon. So I think this is a great way that people can step up with their Christianity and their moral beliefs and confidently invest their money in a way that they know is going to only be used for proper moral companies and returns. I think it's great.
Brent?
I think the concept is wonderful. On my website, freedomradio.us, I have an area called Boycott, where I have listed major corporations and organizations that, in my opinion, do not stand for the principles in which America was founded, and by their actions let them be known, and they have been known to be real bad organizations by that standard. And I hear that you're trying to do something similar, that obviously you have succeeded to a large degree, $650 million, nothing to sneeze at, that you're only looking to invest in companies that have some kind of standard for behavior that is appropriate to Christians. One of the things I've found with my boycott section is that just about every single major corporation out there seems to have gotten into the love of money, root of all evil kind of paradigm. What kind of criteria do you use? If you have that many investors and that high a portfolio, you've obviously got a lot of companies, a lot of corporations. How do you find corporations that don't, on some level, cross the moral line in becoming successful?
Yeah, great question, Brent. There's about, we have international funds. I mean, we're worldwide now, but domestically, there's about 8,000 publicly traded companies that are large enough for a mutual fund family like ours to invest in, because if you own the shares, it's got to be large enough where you can sell them whenever you need to. Of the 8,000, people would be amazed to find that we screen out just over 700, or about 9% of the universe. That leaves 90+% of the universe of available domestic companies for our money management firms to apply their economic screens to decide which ones are good investments for our various funds. So, we're not tying their hands totally, but we screen out about 9% of the domestic universe of companies, and we screen out just over 600 international companies that fail our screens. And, you said something I kind of should clarify. We don't invest in quote-unquote good companies because Scripture is very clear. There is none righteous, not one. Companies are run by people. What we do is avoid companies that, from a corporate practice, are pursuing what, for lack of a better term, we call an unholy agenda. Because there's none really righteous, but there's a big difference between being passively unrighteous and pursuing an unholy agenda. Those are the companies we will not own, no matter how good they look economically.
Let me ask you a question here.
If I can,
go ahead,
I can just follow up. I just wanted to ask very pointedly, Monsanto, your perspective.
I don't know. We've got 700 companies. We've got a whole team that continually updates that. I don't have our screen list in front of us, but I'll tell you this. We do have everyone that's on that screen list totally documented and why they're on there. And I believe we have the most complete research in that end of the spectrum in the entire industry. Monsanto, I can't describe exactly for you, but you know, when you've got a website that's a boycott website because of what corporate practices are, I would probably guess that we screen out every one of those companies from owning them in our various funds.
Let me ask you a question about...
I'll check your website just to be sure, but I'll bet that's the case.
All right, let me ask you a question about policies. If a company pays benefits to homosexual couples, would that be enough to get them on the do not invest list or not?
Yeah, that's a question we've had to answer a lot, and you know, we go back to there's none righteous. So on, if you're speaking of same-sex health benefits, let's just consider or pretend that you are the CEO of a company that has 10,000 employees. You offer health care to your employees. Some of your employees happen to be homosexual. It's a fairness issue. You're not going to not offer your employees health care benefits. So we will not screen out a company simply because they do that, because that's fairness. However, if they are offering that, we do look for other activity. If they're funding events, if they're promoting a whole agenda, well, Starbucks, you know, is recently made the news, where the CEO just thumbed his nose at the traditional pro-life, pro-family universe of people in this nation and said, if you don't like our promotion of same-sex marriage, and he is very adamant, you know, against traditional marriage, if you don't like it, go buy other coffee or go buy other companies. You know, how in the world a CEO could thumb his nose at more than 50% of his potential market and retain his job is beyond my comprehension. But we do not sit there and screen out companies just because they do that. But if they're doing other things, yeah, we will not own them.
Well, I appreciate that. And I made a suggestion for people for Starbucks, and the reality is no Christian person should ever go to a Starbucks if that is their attitude. And anyone that promotes in any way homosexual marriage or homosexuality doesn't care for people because it hurts people. That's the bottom line. All right, let's talk about some of the other factors. Now, you mentioned alcohol and tobacco. Does that mean you don't invest in food establishments that serve alcohol? Or
no,
stores that sell tobacco?
Incidental. No.
Okay.
Producers or direct distributors of alcohol or tobacco or casino gambling. And simply because of this, you know, we don't sit here and condemn people who maybe have a glass of wine with their dinner. But alcohol and tobacco are addictive. They have taken out, in too many cases, the main breadwinner of a family who gets addicted to that stuff. And so because of that reason, we do screen out producers and direct distributors. But for a grocery store that sells beer and wine, we wouldn't screen it out for that reason. That's not a corporate promotion because they sell 10,000 other products. It's not a corporate promotion or direct distributor of alcohol or tobacco.
I mean, I agree with that. I was just curious because you have Walmart, you have Kroger's, you have some pretty big companies that you know, incidental to everything else they do that. Chief?
I just want to compliment your photograph. I've been looking at the stained glass in the background, and I'm a man. I rarely notice any kind of colors or anything else, but I just think that's a very, very unique background, and I want to compliment you on it.
That one is really old.
Are you a pastor?
No, but we do try to preach to pastors a lot. You know, if everybody would follow their convictions, one of our former presidents, William Howard Taft, once said this, and I think that kind of captures where we are today. Too many people don't care what happens as long as it doesn't happen to them. If people would follow their convictions, the people that are promoting the dark side follow their convictions. They're committed. They're unified. They're focused. They know that money drives their agenda. Our side are scattered, unorganized, not committed. You might be surprised to know that 42% of the $10 or $12 trillion invested in mutual funds, 42% is invested by people who claim to be born-again Christians. What if they would follow their convictions like the other side does? What if they would do that and come out from among them and be separate? You would see a transformation of this culture in a nanosecond. But the bottom line is we really don't do that. We kind of, you know, it's okay. We just take it, too many people take it too lightly. And as a result, the basic pro-life, pro-family people are being ignored because they're not seen as a real threat by the people that are pursuing an unholy agenda.
Well, I think your point is well made. It could be we play by the rules. We believe in the ramifications of our actions. The other side does not play by the rules, and they don't believe there's any ramification, at least eternally, for their reactions. So we're at a disadvantage in that they, well, as one of my favorite people, Chief Steve, often says, we treat it like a debate, they treat it like a war.
This is true. Yeah.
We need to understand who we're going against in all this. All right, give folks the specifics, how to find your organization, your website, how they could make decisions as to investing through your funds.
Great. The website is very simple. It's simply timothyplan.com. And if they're not computer literate, that's a disappearing group of people, though, because most everybody is. But if they're not, they can call our 800 number. We have folks there that will walk them through any questions they have, and that's 800-TIM-PLAN for memory, 800-846-7526. But this is a mission we've been given, and this is what we do. And we have a number of other services available. For example, for those people that own mutual funds, we have a service called Evaluator that will, and it's complimentary, no cost. It will show them how much money, if they give us the exact name of their fund, how much money their fund has invested in companies that fail these basic moral screens, so they can know where their money's invested instead of just looking at historical performance and those kinds of things.
I like it. TimothyPlan.org. Is it TimothyPlan.what?
.com.
TimothyPlan.com or 1-800-TIM-PLAN. T-I-M.
Correct.
P-L-A-N. Well, I'm going to call my CFO, my wife, and see if we would consider moving our hundreds of pennies. At any rate, let me go around the horn again. Brent, another comment?
Yeah, I like I said, I think that this is really an excellent approach to investing in that it has a moral component to it. What is your perspective? Now, you know, I mean, my own attitude is whatever the official story is, it's not true. Therefore, like, they tell us the official unemployment is down. They tell us officially we're in a recovery, you know, that this is a good time, you know, to start investing. Gold is down. Stocks are up and down. What is your viewpoint overall on the actual state of the economy. Not what we're officially told, but from from your experience.
Nother program, man. I do travel the country speaking about the coming economic earthquake. And anybody who doesn't think it's coming has their head so far in the sand, they really are buying the lies and don't know what's going on. It is a very fragile economy at this point. We have leadership intent on taking down the traditional America that we've all known. And they're doing a pretty darn good job, unfortunately, of doing that. So I'm in the battle. Whether we've lost the war, in the end, I know we win because I've read the last chapter of the book. I know we win. But in the meantime, we've got to occupy, and I'm trying to educate as many people as I can. And if and when this economic earthquake comes, my big concern is it is going to destroy people whose entire sense of well-being and security is found in their bank account or their investment account. That's why I wrote a biblical stewardship seminar series to help people understand God's principles for handling finance. And if and when an economic earthquake hits, they're not going to like it, but it won't destroy them because our whole security is not to be found in dollars and cents in our portfolio. But too many people find their comfort level there. And they could very well, in the next couple of years, be very disappointed.
Arthur, let me ask you then a final question. Do many of your funds, all of your funds, some of your funds, or even one of your funds involve mitigation such that rather than look for growth, there's rather a stop-loss mentality to them?
Preservation of principle?
Yes.
You know, a couple of years ago, I really got concerned because I'm watching what's going on. I don't like it. So we launched a defensive strategies fund because I think the biggest risk we're facing in the future is hyperinflation, because they're going to try to solve this problem like every nation in the history of the world has that's gotten into this kind of mess by printing massive amounts of money, which always lead to hyperinflation. So we launched a defensive strategies fund, one of our 12, that invests in hard assets, things that will go up with inflation if and when that hits. We have an emerging markets fund because even if everything in America collapses, and of course everything probably won't, but even if it did, there's always going to be places somewhere in the world that have healthy, profitable companies. So the thing for people to do is widely diversify, because I only have my views and you have your views, but anybody who says they know what's going to happen tomorrow has to be like I heard you say in your intro, a Democrat, because they're always lying. The problem I have is most Republicans, more than half of them, are also lying too. You know, it becomes too important to stay in office rather than do the right thing for the country. But we're widely diversified. We've got an Israel fund, we've got an international fund, an emerging markets fund, a defensive strategies fund. So everything we have is not tied exactly to the markets in this country. And the best thing for people to do is widely diversify, but keep your eyes on what's going on and be able to shift assets if you see the wheels coming off.
Arthur, thank you so much. It's been a very interesting, very quick half hour here. We'll look forward to having you back. And again, folks, Tim Fund, 1-800-TIM-PLAN, TIM-PLAN, TIMPLAN, or it's timothyplan.com.
Correct.
Thanks, Arthur. Appreciate you being on the show.
Okay, guys. Thank you. Keep up the good work.
All right, folks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
We'll be back, Brent and Chief and I, in just a moment. We're going to have a half an hour of open line. Dr. Keys won't be with us tonight, but we've got some things to talk about, so stay tuned. You have a computer, if you're alive today, which means you have a hard drive, which means it's going to break down. Mozy, the backup people, for thousands, for Stan, for thousands of people, for tens of thousands of people, is simply common sense. You go to cpnlive.com, click on the icon for Mozy, the backup people, and sign up. It's just a few dollars a month. Let me tell you something. We had a break-in. They stole our whole computer. You know what? When they take the computer, you can't recover anything, but we had Mozy. We had the backup. We were able to restore everything simply by buying another computer. cpnlive.com, click on the icon for Mozy, the backup people, and give yourself common sense, peace of mind, great value, the best thing you've ever done. Sooner or later, it's going to be Mozy, the backup people. I like to eat. Do you like to eat? We all do. And usually we run to the grocery store, we run to the convenience store, or we have something in the fridge. But power's been out in parts of this country in the last few weeks. We don't know what's going to come down the pike economically. Smart people are putting in food. Alpine Air Gourmet Reserves is a line of foods that you can put away that will last for a very long time. You know, they say eat what you store and store what you eat. This is great tasting stuff, healthy for you, a full line. You go to our website, cpnlive.com, and click on the button for Alpine Air Gourmet Reserves and see all the different things we have. This is good tasting food. It's reasonably priced. It will last. And it's worth its weight in gold if a problem arises. I know you don't think there's going to be anything that goes wrong. Actually, you do. This is smart. This is smart insurance. This is smart preparation. This is smart thinking. You have kids, you have a spouse, you have parents, you have dependents, you have an appetite. All those things can be addressed by a frugal but smart investment in Alpine Air Gourmet Reserves. Try them out. You will be tickled to death with the taste of them. You know what? In many cases, people start to eat this and they think, heck, this tastes better and costs less than what you're going to the grocery store to buy. cpnlive.com, check it out. Hey, my name is Stan Solomon, and you know if I have something to say, I'll say it. And I'll only tell you the truth because I'm a Republican, not a Democrat. Democrats always lie. Republicans only lie half the time. I don't lie at all. This is the Fuel Mule. It's an extraordinary product that was developed by a friend of mine, an engineer, and it increases the fuel mileage on your vehicle. If you have a combustion engine, this will increase your mileage by 10 to 20%. It bolts around your fuel line. You can install it yourself or have your mechanic do it. It is an extraordinary item, and it flat works. I've been using it for more than 10 years. It's increased my mileage on every vehicle I put it on, and by the way, it will last forever. You can get rid of your vehicle, just take it off and put on the next one. Go to cpnlive.com. You'll have more information there. You can order it right there. We absolutely guarantee you'll be satisfied. The Fuel Mule. It's a way to kick down your cost of fuel and kick up your mileage. Don't you love the name? I thought of it. The Fuel Mule. Let me ask you a question. Do you like being sick? I have in my hand an incredible product. It's called TR10 Supercolloidal Silver. TR10 stands for a trace to the negative 10th power. The particles in this silver product are 6 to 8 angstroms, 6 to 8 10 billionths of a meter. Now listen to me. Silver has been the magic bullet for all of human existence. The Egyptians used silver instruments. We use silverware. They put silver in your teeth because nothing can grow on silver. Silver will kill anything but liberalism. I'm working on that. This product, you go to cpnlive.com, buy 1 quart of this product. It will last you for a very long time. Anytime you feel like you've been exposed to something bad, take some of this product, spray it in your mouth, or take a little bit and gargle it, swallow it. It will kill any pathogen. The average antibiotic kills 10 to 20 different pathogens. This product will kill 700 plus. Do yourself a favor, do your family a favor, do your doctor a favor. He's tired of seeing you. Get Supercolloidal Silver. Go to cpnlive.com, order the product. It's $29.95 plus shipping. I think it's $39.95 delivered any place in America right to your door. It's worth 10 times that. Check it out. If you're not 100% happy, just return it and we'll give you your money back.